60 degrees, and most of it's about 45 degrees. But he built this big retaining wall, and then filled it all in, and then built this 6-ton chimney in a place that it never gets below 40 degrees. And where there's no wood. For a small tent. This is a tent platform. And then all that's in here, this might explain his dedication or focus. There was several little laudanum bottles in here. So he's feeling pretty good. Didn't need a fire anyway to build this thing. No can midden, hardly any cans. And then right around the corner, which is rare down here, there's a drip spring. I mean, it's a drip spring. Drip, drip, drip. It's a gallon a day kind of a spring. It's enough water for one person in an off season. So, anyway, white people are crazy, right? That's what the Indian folks I work with say. Those are crazy. Here's a good example. Next shot, please. And this tells me we're almost done because it's a scenic shot. And this is Deer Creek Falls. And not everything that we do in archaeology is based on artifacts or people's stuff or archaeological sites and fire pits and villages. Lots of things are just the natural landscapes that we translate into white language as the Park Service calls traditional cultural properties, which to tribal people are traditional places or holy places or sacred places, which are different. That word sacred and holy get bantered around a lot in the media. They have different meanings to tribal folks. And holy means having to do with God. Sacred means something like Gettysburg is just important to them. It has nothing to do with God at all. But this is one of those sacred and holy places, God and us, Deer Creek Falls. Beautiful place. Here's the river rolling by at 7 knots, 42 degrees. Lovely place. We had a great time there last year. In fact, I think we were there a year ago today at this place. Our boatman got trashed at a rock fall and got stuck there for 4 hours. Smoking Havanas and the whole thing was pretty pleasant. But up here is a Paiute village and an Anasazi village up on top. And 90-foot waterfall shoots right out of the rock, spectacularly beautiful. And so if you're there, on an archaeological or geological project or on a private winter trip, if you're there between like October 10th and May Day, there's nobody down in the river corridor at all. You have what I heard an ethnographer from the University of Utah say, people that spend a lot of time in the canyon have what he calls, this is a great quote, a heightened sense of ownership. I've got it. All of us have it that are down there a lot. And you get it at these places when you're there all by yourself. But most of the time, if you pay to go down the river, next slide, Lance. This is your experience of Deer Creek Falls. 17 boats. I think there's 11 this way and then 6 going back that way. Everybody's gear. These people have all paid $2,000 a piece or more to come down here, and they're all up above that waterfall going wild. People that would have voted for George Wallace are dancing around naked up there drinking wine. And it's just unbelievable. And then the boatmen all sit down here and make up stories. But this is a completely different experience than the Anasazi experience. All the gear. And even then, it's nice to be down here. Even if there's 300 people here, it's just wonderful. So I wouldn't dissuade anybody from going just because of all the boats. It's actually really kind of nice. Since we're over anyway, I'll tell this little story. Lance will relate to. We were sitting back there a year ago today, our little gang, all these guys that went to college with. We all turned 50 last year and the year before. We thought instead of killing ourselves again like we do every year in our backpack trips, we'd say, well, we've all got money now, and kids are out and older. Let's do a river trip instead of humping around down there like maniacs. So we go on a Canyoners river trip. We get down here, we're waiting because our boatman's got killed himself upstream. So we're here for 4 hours instead of an hour like we're supposed to do. And these loads of Germans start coming in, German people, and which is fine. And they're just. I'm a coder, so I've got that German name. So, but they're mesmerized, of course, there's no place in Germany that looks remotely like this. And so they're just in awe, they're standing around. And this one lady who was, I'll be gracious, she was older than us when we say Lance, and built a little like Humpty Dumpty. She gets naked right away. Yes. And that's where Lance came up with the idea for a courtesy shawl for Deer Creek. And we thought that maybe they could have a little stand right here and sell ice water and courtesy shawls. But she was having a great time, and nobody said it. Next shot, please. And this is the last shot. This is my Mordor shot. This is above that waterfall. So standing up there on that platform, looking off into oblivion. And it's such a nice shot because I've spent over 550 nights below the rim working down here, and you get a dozen days like this in 500 days. So it's really nice. And it also illustrates that unless you're down here in a boat with coolers full of steaks and eggs and tortillas and beer and first aid kits and Paco pads and blenders and all that stuff, it's a rough place to make a go of. It's a rough place. And before medical chopper evacs and motorized transport, you didn't want to break your leg or get strep throat or have a gallstone down here. Anyway, that's the last one.